Is this live?
This is live.
Yo, we're back, you know.
Yo,
good. Great. Let's welcome back into the building. You already know what time it is. It's time for another All You Can Eat Chelsea episode, and it's live. Oh my days!
It's like Sky Sports, isn't it? And it's live.
We have to get this done in one take, guys. We can't re-record, all right? We have to get this. Make sure everybody's good. Everybody's patterned up. Younes, bro, how are you doing? That backdrop, every time I see it, I just look at it and I think to myself, God damn, there's so much detail going on there.
It's not bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, you know what? I will have to add like a Club World Cup. I need to add the Super Cup. There's some trophies there that I'm missing. So, yeah, that's but I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything's good. Looking forward to the game later on, obviously, hence why this is live, because we don't want this going out too late. But yeah, Charity FC, or are we going to destroy Everton? Hopefully we destroy Everton. That says it all.
Yeah. Miz is bringing truth bombs again. How you doing, Miz? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good, man. Good. It's good to be live. Good to be connecting with everyone. It's difficult, obviously, when the premiere happens. I'm well asleep, and then I'll have to catch it in the morning. And the comments are fantastic. But to be live and interacting with all you guys, I think every now and then, I think it's quite fantastic.
Yeah. This is the comment that scared the shit out of me here. He was like, if you don't go now, I'm dropping Spider-Man spoilers, okay? I ain't seen it yet. I don't know about you guys. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. My cousins, who are now biggest Marvel fanatics, they don't miss a beat on anything. They, literally call me up and keep me updated about all of this. They went and saw it last night, and they're like, "This is the best movie I've ever watched in my life." And and they're like, "Miz, we're gonna take you with us, and we're gonna watch it again." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." So apparently, this is the best movie they've ever watched in their life. So they're 14, so the life is quite small, but.
They're probably not over dramatizing it though. It probably is the best movie they've ever seen in their life. Big up, bro, for the super chat. Live again. Yes. Listen, got a lot of things to get through Chelsea wise, so let's not mess about. Let's get stuck in because we haven't done this in a while, and it comes around nicely. Obviously, we have Everton later on, and it's a great way to thank you guys for 20k. So. I mean, I want to start with the draw because obviously the draw was hilarious, right? We ended up getting Lille. I just want to get your reactions. I just want to go back in time and I want to know how you guys were feeling, and let me know in the chat as well. We have the draw at 11 a.m. We're trying to pray and hope that we're going to get Lille. Ajax is not a great draw to get at this stage. It's not what you wish for, especially 6 wins from 6. But I would have taken it from them. And Real Madrid and Bayern is actually not really what you want from this stage. Not scared, but knowing that if we have injuries going into the game, we're nowhere near as good as if we have our full strength team, as we've shown over the last few weeks. Miz, what was your reaction when we got Lille twice, bro? You had a Nunes stream, didn't you?
Yeah. The first time we got Lille, I was just I lost my mind. I was like, I can't believe this. This has happened to us, Lille. And then few people after the draw was finished started saying, Miz, no, draw's going to happen again. I didn't pay attention. I was like, stop this. Like, can the mods please just get rid of these people? Like, it's just ridiculous. And then I saw more of this coming up, and I had a few other panelists, and I'm like, guys, is this, like, is someone taking the piss, or is this really happening? Because I wasn't looking at the news or anything like that. I was just concentrating on the stream, enjoying it, the fact that we got Lille. And then some of the boys in the panel, they were like, Miz, I think it's legit. They're stuffed up. And I'm like, no, get out. And then we started for the rest, like an hour or so. It was all about news flying in and everything. And then as soon as it was confirmed that, it's going to happen again, I said, you know what, guys, I can't. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to come back. We're going to end the stream here. We're going to come back. And then we came back. The fact that Bayern, I think, got Salzburg, and then I think Real drew PSG. I was like, wow, it's gonna happen again, isn't it? And then we got Lille. Someone told me the odds of it was the percentage of it to get Lille twice was less than 6%.
Yeah, the second time.
It's
It's
in Russia.
In my chat, they were just doing mathematics the whole time, like calculators were out. Some were saying 12, some
math settings.
Some were saying 6. Some people just said it's obviously just 25%.
and it's in Russia. And less than 6% to get Lille twice. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I went the whole way through. So
I loved it. I honestly think that with the fact that we got Lille twice, are the stars aligning again? Are we gonna have this happen again? We'll wait and see after we play Lille. But if we get through and then we have that quarterfinal and semi-final draw, that's gonna be the one. Yeah. That's going to be the one. If we have that go our way again, then let me tell you now, just like I said last year, we can begin to start dreaming. Those words will have to come back.
but who do you reckon is going to be easy for us in the quarter? Because the draw kind of made me look like there was one clear-cut winner from each of the ties. So I was like, who could possibly do a madness? Do you know what I mean?
It won't be easy. You look at all those teams and the fact that, all the games are quite evenly spread out.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, to be honest. We'll
Juventus, maybe? Juventus is probably the only tie. Juventus versus Sporting or Villarreal? No, man. That's the only one. That's the only one that I think.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd want something from there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, we can dream, but we'll get past Lille first. I won't disrespect Lille because I don't want any shocks or any surprises there, because that would look absolutely dreadful if we were to get knocked out. So I'm gonna trust that we get through that one first. But yeah, Juventus versus Villarreal is definitely one to look at. Big up the panel, Younes. How was Algeria game yesterday? Crazy scenes at the end, by the way. Who should be the front three today? That's from official Y1B.
Mate, let me put it like this. Have you guys ever seen 19 minutes given a stoppage time?
19 minutes?
Might as well just play another game.
Yeah, you may as well
basically extra time.
Another game, exactly.
It happened.
Why? What happened? Did someone just pass away or something?
No. Here's the thing. So this was the semi-final of the Arab Cup, the first ever Arab Cup. So it was Qatar versus Algeria. And it's in Qatar. Obviously, this is like a rehearsal for the World Cup. This is a chance for Qatar to see how they can stage a tournament. And they're playing, their team against us in the semi-final. And the stadium's packed and whatnot. Referee's clearly been given something under the table. I don't know what it is. But basically, they give 9 minutes of stoppage time. That was the original stoppage time given, 9 minutes. It should have been about 5 or 6 tops. We get into the 8th minute of it. Qatar score. There was a foul in the box, shouldn't have been counted. Goes to VAR. Referee's like, yeah, no, it's a goal. And then I think they tried to prolong it to try and get Qatar to get the winner. And then we get a penalty in the 18th minute, I think it was, or the 15th minute of stoppage time, which was undeniable. So referee VAR looking at that going, we can't not give this. This is too obvious. So we nicked it. We nicked it. And then even so, they let the game go on for 4 more minutes. So it went on until 19 minutes and the referee was like, okay, I'm going to have to actually stop this now because this is stupid. So FIFA, money doesn't buy you everything.
It's a lot of time. Jesus Christ. It's a lot of time on the pitch there. God damn. I personally, if I'd be looking at that, imagine if in the Champions League final, we had 19 minutes of added on time. I would have just walked away. I would have just said, goodbye. Like, I'm not going to waste any more time here. Again, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it. My heart couldn't take it. Broja, I see Broja in the chat quite a bit. Yeah. I do see Broja in the chat quite a bit. Wasn't going to go too much further without mentioning that fantastic goal that he scored yesterday against Crystal Palace. We had quite a few players out there, Livramento, obviously, Gurhi, Gallagher, but it was Broja who got the goal, man. And in an alternate universe, does he stay and does he look more fit? I have to throw the question out there. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. Does he stay and does he look more, does he match in this system maybe quicker than Lukaku does, and then we go and get someone else? Because that's what people are going to be thinking right now, aren't they?
I mean, I just dropped a video maybe an hour and a bit ago. I had to do it. I was watching Arsenal versus West Ham, so I couldn't watch Southampton versus Crystal Palace. I then caught Southampton Crystal Palace highlights afterwards, and then I saw what Broja did, and then I saw a lot more of it because I thought, I need to see this. I'm sold. He has to be in the squad. He has to be next season. Like, I already knew deep down he was getting better and better. That explosive sort of minutes he got in the preseason. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was Bournemouth when he came on.
Yeah.
Might have been Bournemouth. I can't remember exactly, or maybe Tottenham. I don't remember exactly, but it was a game in the
one
in
of
the
those little
preseason.
teams. One of those
little teams, exactly. Although I think Bournemouth's probably bigger, but yeah, he looked so good, and I was like, man, I like what I see about him. And there's, you know how, boys, you see a player and you can tell, I think there's something about this guy. Is going to be something. I felt like that with Ian Martin as well when he played against Grimsby a couple of seasons back under Frank Lampard in the FA Cup. I was like, ooh, I like the look of this guy. And similarly with Broja. And then obviously this season kicked on. He was on loan. It started a bit slow, which is fine because with Ralph Hasenhüttl, you got to get used to it. And surely, but, you know, obviously it happened now. He's started to get more game time and he's putting in goals for Albania as well. He's scoring, and it's the caliber of goals. Shooting technique is fantastic. Hold up is fantastic. Burst of pace, technicality, and Matisse harps on about technicality. This brother is by far probably more technical than some of our attacking players that we have already. And how old is Broja? Like
20.
20.
He's just 20. So
yep.
He's going to get that technicality even better and better. It's the shooting technique. It's phenomenal. The goal he scored against Crystal Palace outside of the box, snapshot, low lift off the leg, and boom, just hits it. And it goes like a rocket. Wow, man. He has to be part of the setup next season. I don't expect him to start, but he has to be part of the setup. No loans. I don't want any more loans. He's done it. He's done his loan sessions. He's getting better and better. Next season, under Thomas Tuchel, be a rotational player. Take your chances. I think he's going to keep Lukaku very honest. If Lukaku stuffs up, this boy will take his place. He will take his place. So I think this will be good competition. I like him.
I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he didn't really smash it in the youth team in comparison to Solanke and Abraham in terms of statistics, but he seems to be on a very quick upward trajectory in terms of he did the Vitesse loan, but people would watch that and still say, okay, there's still a bit more to learn there. There's still more, things that you can add to your game. Maybe not quite ready, but then the preseason he looked really good. And that was when I was like, okay, now we might have something here, because now in preseason, he's looking really good for Chelsea. Touch will go whether he's going to stay. And I said, okay, cool. He's going out on loan. We're getting a striker in. Fair enough. I don't think, I don't really have an issue with that. I think it's maybe too soon to just say that we're going to throw him in with Kai and go for the Premier League title. That's probably too much of a risk. But he's looking good. He's looking really good. He's looking really hungry. And, if he keeps going like this, there's no reason why in the summer you can't come back and start knocking on the door again. So this is good for us. This is only good for us because, whether Lukaku starts to get into form or not, which I still think he will, we still need someone else. We still need someone else anyway for competition. We definitely do. So I'm liking the look of that. I mean, Younes, what did you make of his performance? And Gallagher last weekend, it's been a week since we spoke. Top corner. Like, what the hell was that?
Those are the two names now we have to look at and go, yeah, we need to try and get them into the squad for next season. And I think, you know what, like, I don't want to, say, oh yeah, January, bring them back. We're not going to. Let them develop. Let's see what they do for the whole season, because 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, yeah, it's cool, but it's got to be consistent throughout the season. That's the level we need at Chelsea. So we'll see what they do. However, Broja is looking really, really good. I hope he gets, consistent amount of form at Southampton. With Broja as well, I like the fact that he's he's a bit of a powerhouse at the same time. He's quick. He takes the risk to shoot. I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing when he shoots. You look at that goal he scored against Southampton. That was unbelievable. And that's the sort of thing we need at Chelsea. We don't do that enough. Get the ball to the X and we try to, wiggle our way in. And it's like, no, sometimes have the dig if you see the opportunity. And that's exactly what he did. And look where he put it. He's 1.91 m, nearly 2 meters tall. I mean, physically, he's an absolute beast. I'd like to, and I think at some point, especially because he's big and he has pace, he's a fast lad. I would like to see at some point down the line, if Lukaku picks up form and starts to bang, that partnership maybe Broja Lukaku in the future. That could be something. 'Cause I think it alleviates pressure off of both of them, because Broja, I think, will bring enough to the table to attract attention from defenders, which helps Lukaku. Lukaku with a bit more space might actually be able to perform even better. And I think it just helps the both of them. So we'll see. Gallagher, Patrick Vieira said it himself. He's got the passion of Ray Parlour. He's got the finishing of Frank Lampard. And if we ever was talking about a player that we are going to, I don't like to make comparisons, but the whole Mason Mount, is he the next Lampard regen? You know what? Maybe not. I think Gallagher is. When you look at the style and you look at what he does offensively and the way he gets stuck in, it's very Lampard-esque. So Gallagher,
both of them lack the passing, though. I still think they've got to improve their passing vision. Like Lampard was. This is why
Lampard was a monster, man.
Yeah, this is why I don't like bringing on Lampard's name. Like it should.
Lampard's for me is our greatest ever player. We shouldn't even be. His name shouldn't even be in.
This is true.
In the conversation.
You guys should be ashamed for bringing his name, man. I mean, it's sinful. You got to say. Sorry, to even bring up his name. I mean, the craziness Lampard was doing, I don't know if anyone comes close to it even now. Maybe KDB, I suppose, in terms of his shooting ability and his technicality, his vision. But nah, man, Mount and Gallagher have got a long way to go in terms of to even come to 20% of what Lampard was doing. So. Yeah, we'll see.
But it's definitely positive for Gallagher, especially. I think he comes into the squad next season, and Broja, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he comes into the squad too.
This is why there's a lot of pressure, and I think in my last what show did I just come out of where I was maybe I was on Elizabeth's channel, and I was keeping it very clear cut with Timo Werner and his future, because I think a lot of people think he can just continue to keep doing this, and we spoke about it in last week's show when it was pre-recorded. Get a couple goals here, don't get no goals there, dirt, back and forth. This is not a game, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? There is people vying for your competition, vying for your place. I think people forget how competitive the situation is for the players currently in the squad. If they don't perform this year, Broja's coming here back to compete in pre-season. Gallagher's coming back to compete in pre-season. Billy Gilmore's coming back to compete in pre-season. And that's before we even go into the transfer market again. They cannot afford to be this up and down, some goals here, some big misses there. You have to find form in this team. And I've been saying it, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 attackers in this squad who have to leave in the summer, because, this attack hasn't been good enough. And I don't think it will reach that City level that it has to reach for them all to stay. They have to reach that level, that City Liverpool level, for us to be like, okay, there doesn't need to be any changes here. Everybody's fine. And until they get to that level, they are going to be under the cosh. And even Ruben, Ruben had a really good start breaking in, but he's still got to watch himself, because there's competition. If we're going to sign a DM or we're going to bring back Gilmore or whatever we do, again, that's the same similar position he's playing in. So, and even just period, there's players like Bellingham that play in his role, box to box. So again, you just have to be on your A game constantly. So I think, there's no respite for any of these young players, or even older players that are in this squad that are up and down. They have got to find their form and sustain a title fight, because if they don't, I don't think it's less likely going to be Tuchel to blame and more going to be down to individuals and the quality of the squad, in my opinion. Obviously, we found out we can't bring back Gilmore, Gallagher on loan or do a recall in January. How you know, do we still go for a midfielder in January, or do you think get everyone fit and just go with what we've got in terms of the 5? Because it doesn't really sound realistic for us to send back Saul Oliva because of the money we paid, 5 million for the loan. And I don't think Atletico can register him, so we'd have to find him on a new loan. So, I mean, how do you feel about that, Miz? Do you think we just have to just keep what we've got and keep it moving?
Yeah, keep what we got. We keep it moving. I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult to get some of our key sort of targets, which is obviously Tchouaméni or Declan Rice. I don't know if we've been rumoured with any other midfielders, and I don't think we're going to get any of them in January, especially not Declan Rice from West Ham when they're going for top 4 and they want to go long in the Europa League as well. Possibly could even win that. Can you imagine West Ham in the Champions League next season by winning the Europa? So it's going to be quite interesting. So that'll be very difficult. And Tchouaméni is also going to be difficult with Monaco. You know, he's their star player. So we have to just make do with what we have and hope that no one gets injured in midfield again, which is going to be so difficult. I can just picture Kante, just another one around the corner. I'm praying it doesn't happen. Kovacic, I'm hoping that he can continue on, but even Kovacic throughout the season, he picks up here and there little niggles, which sort of stops his momentum. But it is what it is. We continue, and this is only a very positive sort of scenario for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, as you were saying, Matisse. Ruben, for the past few games, he's been okay-ish, under the sort of, you know, not really noticeable, not doing anything entirely stupid either, except for that Watford sort of giveaway. I wanted him to really boss. Every time I do my preview, I keep saying Ruben to boss the midfield, Ruben to boss the midfield. And the guy just makes me look like an idiot at the end of the match. So tonight, your time, tomorrow morning, my time, Ruben to boss the midfield, please.
Yeah.
One time. Can we get that? Can we please get that? Because against Everton, I think he needs to. I mean, Jorginho will control the tempo, control the midfield, the build-up and whatnot, make sure we hold more of the possession. But I need Ruben to burst through midfield, shake off the Everton nonsense that's going to be thrown around and lay those key passes to our forwards, and so we can just put them away. Yeah, Matisse, I say we just make do with what we got.
Yeah. I mean, some people in the chat are saying Ruben's not a pivot player. I think he did play in the pivot in the academy. Big up Saeed as well in the chat. Big up yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Big up Saeed.
You know, we had Ruben play in the pivot in the academy. Is it his strongest position? No, I'd say it's still the number 8 is his strongest position. Mason Mount's strongest position is still the 8. And he's been playing a little bit out of position for about a year now as well. So you do have to be slightly adaptable. Again, I'm not asking someone to go from, you know, left wing to right back or something, but if you slight alters, you know, you've got to be able to make that change, especially if you're trying to break into a midfield that, you know, you wasn't involved in the Champions League. So you've got to make that slight adjustment. But yeah, he is an 8, but he can play in that pivot. Obviously, he needs to be the advanced one in that pivot so he can still take and pick his times to go, which is what he said in an interview with Chelsea. And that's what he's been trying to do. I think the only thing that I have an issue with that he needs to develop in his game, and I think he's quite similar to Kova in that respect, is that he's taking too many touches sometimes. And I think if he just releases the ball earlier and gets the ball moving forward quicker, like Kova was doing at the start of the season, then I think it'll be a lot better for him. So he just needs to move the ball quicker, because sometimes he takes too many touches, and then you know, we're not doing the business.
Hey, Matisse.
Younes, what do you make of? Go on.
I was just going to say, after Younes has his say on this matter, this particular thing is bothering me a little bit. So once Younes is done, I just want to talk about this whole double pivot. Is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, because there's a particular guy in the live chat is always saying, "Oh, Miz needs to apologize for Gallagher." I just need to clarify something with Mizball and really put it back on the people, because once again, you people, how many times have we done this in this show where we've done the Mizball? The lads have talked about it. You guys think about a double pivot like they stand together like this, and they move like this, and they move. No. How many times will we need to explain this to you that it doesn't work that way. But anyway, let Younes have his go, and then I'm just getting the board ready.
This is all you can eat, Chelsea. So obviously, Mrs. cooking something very, very fragrant.
I'm losing it again. I'm getting violent.
We got 2 minutes until it's ready to be served. So get your knife and forks out, people, because this is going to be crazy. I mean, with Ruben, I completely agree. That's the one criticism that I have, is that sometimes to play in that role, you got to be quick, you got to be dynamic, you got to be fast. And when he was introduced into that role, he done very well. Why? Because he was just that, he would be able to take the ball, link up, quick, move. And that's where I was surprised, because before he got, let's say, I don't know, was it shunned or was it because of his injury or whatnot, but he wasn't playing. I had the one criticism about Ruben being quite heavy-footed, taking a bit too much time on the ball. That you can't do that with Tuchel. When he got introduced by Tuchel, all of a sudden I'm seeing him agile. I'm seeing him move quick. He's moving the ball fast. I'm like, yo, is this Ruben? Now we're starting to see him slightly go back into those old ways. And that's where, as I've said, you've got to be consistent. You've got to be consistent. And I'm hoping today against Everton, who are in a bit of a turmoil, he has a good game. He moves it quickly. We should have complete control in that midfield. And he's going to be vital to that. And hence why we've been conceding lately, because when you don't have that balance in midfield, or you have, a little bit of sloppiness in midfield, you're going to put your defense under pressure. And that's exactly what we've done. So with Ruben, I hope today he really has a good one, because it could be his last big opportunity with Kante back and Kovacic on the brink of coming back. And, he might go to the back of the queue. So good luck, Ruben, tonight.
Let's see.
Miz
is cooked.
Okay, I'm going to keep this short.
Dinner is served.
I want to keep this short, and also I want to see what the boys have to say, and especially the live chat. I mean, how many do we have right now? We've got nearly 500, 450, 450 people. First of all, smash the like button as well. To 450 people, here's a message just for you. So this is more or less our setup, okay? Three at the back, the wing backs generally play quite high up, and they're sort of midfielders. This is what Thomas Tuchel has said. And then you got the inside forwards. And in recent times, some of these inside forwards have actually been quite wide as well, which is something that we've been doing. Especially Timo Werner in the last match against Leeds was more as a left winger as opposed to an inside forward. But anyway, that's a different conversation. This is the conversation right here. You guys think these two are like that, and they move together and they mimic each other. No, complete misunderstanding. That means you've not been watching the game and you just watch what the formation looks like at the start of the match. Don't worry about what the formation setup looks like when they show in this pretty picture just before the match. That's just BS, to be honest. That's not how all the players stick. That's just, for layman's term, they put it out there so that, you get a vision of it. But generally what happens is, this is Jorginho. Let's just say, for argument's sake, for the time being, sometimes it could be Kovacic. And this is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Because in this case, we're talking about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I'll tell you how I think Conor Gallagher, in this particular setup, where he fits in and why I think, where he fits in. And it's up for debate as well. Jorginho is the deepest midfielder all the time. All the time. We talk about Jorginho can't play lone DM. He actually has been playing lone DM most of the time. With the ball, he's the deepest midfielder. He helps out all of these players, the three at the back, the wing backs, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and he's the center point over here in terms of our build-up. He goes and assists each and one of these guys to release the pressure from them, and he makes sure the build-up is smooth. Ruben is box to box. That's why you see sometimes Ruben here. In the last match against Leeds, there were a few times Ruben was actually on the left side. Sometimes he's on the right side. I believe it was a match against, who was the one before Leeds? West Ham, where he took a shot from, I think, somewhere here. So Ruben is box to box. Ruben he's not here, because he knows Jorginho holds the play. So you talk about Ruben being an 8. He's not a pivot player. He is doing an 8's job. Without the ball, he tracks back as quickly as possible, helps in defense. Set pieces, he helps in defense. With the ball, he bombs up and he's got the free roaming space around here. This is what Ruben Loftus-Cheek does. This is what he likes to do. He likes to play a little bit deeper and drive from midfield and come into these sort of areas. Some think maybe he can play this role, but that sort of negates his skill set. His skill set is to drive from deep. So just to go back, I don't want to elaborate too much more because we can go on for hours and hours talking about this. Ruben does an 8 role. That's what he does. This is what he does, up and down over here. So for you to think, and I just want to ask the live audience, what do you think is a pivot player? What does that even mean to you? What do you even like? What does that thing mean to you? This is not, Thomas Tuchel just makes it like he dumbs it down for us because not everyone out there is analytically thinking. So he calls it pivot, but at the end of the day, it's not really a pivot. It's Jorginho, the deepest midfielder, and Ruben stays close. Similarly with Kante, you'll see Kante sometimes Kante's even taking headers. He's somewhere over here.
He took a header in the Champions League final, didn't he?
Exactly. So, and just to wrap things up, in this setup, to the brother that was having a go at me and literally was, copying and pasting the messages since the start of this show, this is why I said I picture Gallagher here. And look, this is just my opinion. You could think otherwise. You may think because it's Mount playing over here, that perhaps he could play there. Yeah, sure, he can. Gallagher probably could. But I think Gallagher has good defensive attributes as well. And he's got those legs to go up and down. His off-the-ball work is very good. I know you're going to say, but Miz, you gave away that goal against Southampton that led to Broja's goal. Man, that kind of stuff's going to happen, man. That stuff will happen. But generally, Gallagher, from the matches I've seen, is very good box-to-box. So for me, this is how I see Gallagher. I could be wrong. You may see him over here, but that's just a personal opinion. That's pretty much it, Matisse.
I think Gallagher can play both. I think I brought up that he could play in the Mount role, especially as we saw against Real Madrid, where he dropped into the pivot and became a 3 versus Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos. And obviously his goal scoring and output so far this season for Palace has shown that he can contribute to the final third with goals and assists as well. He had the assist for Benteke, but you're right, his passing would need to improve, and it's more his shooting right now we're starting to see. And also in this pivot as well, like you said, in that box-to-box role. Again, what's best for a Ruben, a Mount, and a Gallagher? Probably a midfield 3 with an anchor. Mount to the left of that, where he started in Lampard's second season on the left-hand side of a 3 in the 8 role. Gallagher could play in the 8, and so could Ruben as well. These guys are all 8s, but I think Ruben for me definitely in the pivot, especially with his height, his strength. I think that's something that we lack in the pivot in this squad, so I want to keep him in there. And Mount, I don't really want in the pivot for the complete opposite reason. Again, I think he's quite fluid. He's good at picking up the ball in the half turn and being in that final third and adding some pace into the attack. And then obviously Gallagher, I think, can do a mesh of both. But it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out in the end. Let's see. And he scored against Leicester NG. Who's that about? You've got more characters than that in the super chat. Use them up.
N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. I've seen the tweet. The tweet is actually at the bottom of your screen right now. So yeah, 3 players have tested positive for the disease here. We don't know which 3 players it is, but 3 players have tested positive. Now, hopefully that doesn't mean the game is cancelled, but we'll have to wait and find out, I guess. Hopefully
it's a possibility because you look at other fixtures that have been postponed. And I'm just saying now, I reckon that eventually it's going to get to a point where we stop.
Yeah, I think
we
so.
Stop. Or we don't have enough hands into the ground, you think?
I think it'll happen. I mean, we'll wait and see how, but I don't think tonight's game will get cancelled. But it depends on who are the 3. We don't even know who the 3 are. It could be Bettinelli. It could be flipping, it could be Lukaku. It's either side of the spectrum. We don't know.
To be honest, I hope that we can still carry on if it's just 3. I don't want it to get cancelled for 3 players, to be honest. I think it needs to be I think the Premier League should introduce a rule of how many players it needs to be minimum before you can actually cancel a game. And
more and more players are getting this, man. Brentford, I think, has 13 players mixture of first team and the second team or whatever the case is. Obviously, Spurs, Brighton is another one that's in the mud. Leicester has complained. Brendan Rodgers said that he's got issues with injuries and this whole, disease situation. I'm scared, man. I thought we got it to a point where, we're just going to accept the fact that we have to live with this. But it looks like, it's probably as Younes said, it's going to be locked down soon again.
Yeah, and
I think they've just got to put in tighter restrictions, don't they, around the players? I think as well.
I mean, this is the whole weird thing is that, you're gonna get people that are testing positive. Now, at face value, that sounds bad. Oh, they tested positive. Oh, but if you actually go and check, like Tottenham, with the amount of positive cases that they have, how many were actually sick?
Yeah,
not one. So it's just, you receive a test result and it's like, okay, you're positive, you're ruled out. And it's a shame that it's come to that. And I agree with Miz, to be honest. I think it's going to get to a point where we'll just have to plow through. Because you can't keep starting and stopping. How long are we going to do this for?
World Cup next year as well. Ideally, I would love for the players to actually get a proper break over the summer, not have the season still going. There is a couple of weeks in January for some of these games to be played in hand, but there is a World Cup next winter, so it's almost impossible to delay it without messing up the something else. For me, put the players in a bit of a bubble now. If I was the Premier League and try and enforce that. And then if it keeps going, then you might have to look at taking fans out of the stadium again. Hopefully not. But I don't think pausing it right now is the greatest idea, considering how much is going on later in the calendar year. I think it's just gonna, again, like Younes said, this is just something that we might have to live with. How many times are we going to keep doing this? Do you know what I mean? It's like up and down, up and down. This is meant to be less lethal as well. This variant, isn't it? It's meant to be less.
Initial studies showing that this is meant to be less lethal. But why the push for the vaccination then? You pushed all of us, the entire world, for vaccination to the point where we're getting boosters now. And then to have, can you imagine, boys, the whole Christmas period, no football? Like, I get it. It's a serious case, but have a look at the people that's getting hospitalized. I don't think so. Like in Australia, we've got the situation where they've not stopped anything. We've just continued on because we've got really high vaccination. And they're saying that not many are getting hospitalized. So they're not going to stop anything. They're not going to, just because cases are rising. Like we've hit, nearly 2,000 today. But they're not going to stop. They're saying to the point, and this is the message from the PM as well, that we're going to have to live with it. We're going to have to learn to live with it. We can't keep going into lockdowns. So
yeah, I would agree personally. I don't think the football clubs can even afford to go through another lockdown. Most of them, people think it's easy to just lock up shop, but I think we're forgetting the rest of the football pyramid as well. Not just the top end. Maybe the top clubs can survive, but I don't think. If there was to be another lockdown, I don't think most of the clubs in the lower leagues would be able to handle it. So what, do we just let them liquidate? What are we going to do? We're going to finance them? All these things are going to be up for discussion. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But OS says my mental health can't take no more football, no football anymore as well. Difficult to preview the Everton game when we don't even know what's going to happen, but just especially when we don't even know who's missing now as well. It kind of makes that press conference pointless. He did say Kante and Trevor was back, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And he said that they were going to be starting on the bench.
Yeah. Probably to start on the bench.
I'd fully expect Kante to come off the bench. Chalobah maybe not. But Kante, I think at some point will probably come off the bench, even if we're trailing or if we have the game. Well, I mean, hopefully we're not trading, bloody hell. But if we are, or if we're winning comfortably, then Kante will probably get some minutes, at least for the weekend. And then there's a chance that Kovacic might be back. But yeah, like now, it's still put a spanner in the works. We don't know who's available. We don't know who's not. So we'll wait and see. The other one is Obviously, the news on Ben Chilwell, which is very positive. So fingers crossed, the next 3 to 4 weeks, he might make a return. But up until that point, it's nice that we're getting players back now. Kante, Chalobah, thank God for that.
Yeah. If Chilwell is back in mid-January, would you still get a left wing back? How do you feel about that?
Yes, I still would. Because, you know, we can't stay in this situation. This whole thing has proven to us that we need to go and get a left wing back now, and someone that's going to compete with Chilwell. And you know, whether it's going to be Chilwell or this new guy, or if Alonso will, you know, out of the blue, which I doubt, but you know, turns into Superman, then great. You know, but I think we definitely need to go and get someone more fitted to the system.
Yeah. I just think to myself that, you know, it's an area that of the team that has been weak for a while. I think it's something that we could have addressed a while ago. But because, you know, these little bursts of form keep coming back from Alonso, it keeps delaying the inevitable. He also signed a 5-year deal in 2019 under Sarri. But for me personally, it's like we should be able to see now that he's not dependable. And if you can't depend on someone who's a senior backup member in the squad, then you should probably take a look at it, because not depending on a backup position is kind of for young players. We say it all the time, but if you're not going to have quality depth, then you may as well just have a young academy player who you're developing, like an Ian Maatsen. That's the level of confidence I'm getting from Alonso. Can't depend on that person. So there should actually be a plus side of, oh, we'll coach him then, or we'll improve him. But I'm not, that plus side isn't there because he's too old. So I think we could get decent money for him as well. There's enough years on the contract, and also the fact that obviously Italy, he's got a reputation there for teams wanting him. So I think there's definitely something there. Obviously, people have been saying bring back Emerson, but at the same time as well, I think Lyon are trying to exercise that buyback. Well, that option to buy, I think it was around 15 million or something, maybe 10 million. And obviously we want him off our books as well. So, and I even seen a shout in my comments on Twitter about Kennedy. I forgot Kennedy even played for this football club. Where's Kennedy?
Is he still around?
I think he plays in Brazil now.
He really does still play for us.
Yeah, some Brazilian club. He's on loan, I think. He's on loan.
He's on loan. Club. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, he's really Younes's face.
He's still here.
Oh my God, he's really still here.
Is Batshuayi still on our books?
Yeah, I think he is. We sold him, didn't we?
I don't think we did. I think we loaned him to Besiktas. I don't think we sold him.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna check this right now.
I'm pretty sure we actually.
Yeah, he's on loan. He's on loan. Yeah. He's on loan at Besiktas.
Why don't anyone say bring back Batshuayi?
Batman.
Like some goals.
No, thank you. No, thank
the
you.
Batman.
Oh no,
thank you. I'm good. I'm very much.
Drinkwater still on our books.
My
he's
God.
He's on loan, isn't he? He hasn't been sold. I think he's
like
on loan.
Throwing up now, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This from Thomas Frank. He said this weekend's fixtures should be postponed to break the chain. It's an interesting.
This is the thing. Like, I would understand that a year ago when we didn't quite know what was going on, or 2 years ago when we didn't quite know what was going on. We're gonna have to take breaks every season now, or
winter break, annual winter break.
I mean, other countries, I know other countries do the winter break, and if we're doing the winter break, okay, just for the sake of actually giving a break to some of these players, then cool. If that's going to be something that we adapt to, I think maybe even the Premier League might be able to look into it. The fact that we've got the World Cup next winter, and we're going to have to play around that. Maybe that can give an idea on how to go forward if we were to implement a winter break. But there's also the thing in terms of the beautiful thing with the Premier League is, you know, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, that whole time, it's what makes us when everyone's stopped and we keep going. So it loses that certain special time, doesn't it? Those few games. You make a good point there. Also, I mean, something I've been still waiting on, and we're still waiting. And actually, I don't know if we've spoken about this. Obviously, the live chat, we haven't had the live chat for this, but Rudiger's contract situation was very interesting to me because he could have easily been confirmed to be gone by now to Real Madrid, but there seems to be this little
Little bit of hope. Adam Newson just put it out there yesterday. Just a little bit of hope that Tuchel keeps saying that, he doesn't expect him to leave the club on a free agent. He loves the fans too much. And he's still in talks with Chelsea, even though he's got that Real Madrid offer. I'm very, very confused. Has it given you any hope, Miz, that we might keep this guy, or how are you feeling right now with it?
I think one thing's a certainty now. I don't think Rudiger ever wanted to go. Oh, well, last season, maybe when things were a bit like 12 months ago, perhaps. I mean, even the club was pushing him out. But since Thomas Tuchel took over, I think it's very clear. And this is why Rudiger starts on a regular basis. And this is why we saw Christensen, not getting some of the starts in recent times. Rudiger's been honest to the point that he's wanted to stay all along since Thomas Tuchel came in. And Thomas Tuchel has been very clear that he wants Rudiger to stay as well. It's just a matter of now the club. But the thing with Rudiger is he's quite set on what he wants. He wants to stay at Chelsea. I think the rumors, it kind of makes sense now. He wants somewhere around, I think it said 10 to 14 million or something like that, or 10 to 12 million a year. Whereas Chelsea, I think, offered him about 8, something like that. I could be wrong with the numbers, but it's got to do with the money now. He wants to stay. Chelsea wants him as well. Rudiger wants more money. Chelsea's not giving that money. Now, I tweeted the other day, I was like, Roman, bro, just come and do something here, man. Like, pay some money to Rudiger outside of the books. Put whatever needs to be in the book, and then get your other book out where you have all this fancy stuff going on in the other book, and put Rudiger's name in there and just wire him that cash, man. Come on, you can do it, Roman. Come on, just do it, man. I hope so, man. I hope we can find some sort of fancy situation where we give Rudiger 200K a week plus bonuses, 200K, under the table.
Maybe a boat.
I'm just saying, I was on FIFA 22, and one of the first things I did was to get Rudiger to sign a new deal. And
how long did it take?
About 2 minutes. It was so easy. 190 a week. He accepted it. Lovely. No sign-on bonus. Beautiful. So Marina, get your act together. It's easy.
You're not in debt, so it is possible.
If you need a hand, Marina, I'm here. I've got the pen. Yeah, I'll get him to sign the thing. Not a problem. I've got Christensen to sign.
Don't use the sign the thing because that's clearly cursed. That is so cursed. That's saying from Aubameyang.
That's a good point. Okay, in that case,
in terms of his performances when he signs the ting.
what are we saying instead then? Sign the paper.
Yeah, please sign. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, we have no such issues over here when it comes to captaincy. I think we've had a good. Even Cahill, to be fair to him, was like for a small period was a decent captain. Was he captain for? He was captain for a little bit, wasn't he?
For a little bit, yeah.
Cahill.
Yeah.
Under Sarri, he was the official captain.
After JT, Cahill, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was Aspie. I think, and then even after Aspie, we're going to be fine with maybe Reece or Mason Mount as well. Obviously, Jorginho steps in when he needs to. You got others as well, but that club over there, North London, they really struggle with captains. I actually had a list. I had a list of their captains the other day. I thought it was quite funny to go through.
Hilarious.
Obviously, the first one was William. Well, the first one on that list was William Gallas. Obviously, former Chelsea player. I thought that was quite funny. He had a whole moment against Birmingham. Obviously, I think there was an injury to maybe Ramsey, was it? And yeah, he ended up having to leave that captain's role. Let me see if I can find the whole list. I don't have to.
Xhaka comes into my mind straight away.
Yeah.
Van Persie, I believe, left as well.
Yeah. Fabregas left.
Says Fabregas left as well to go to Barcelona.
Mertesacker was injury prone. Arteta was also injury prone.
Koscielny could not get rid of that Arsenal jersey.
Koscielny, yeah.
What was that promo for Marseille, was it?
Promo for Bordeaux.
Bordeaux. He could not wait to take that Arsenal jersey off.
So rude. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. So, yeah, I mean, most of their captains have either left, been injury prone or disrespectful in some way. And then you've got, obviously, Aubameyang, who I don't know this time it's a little bit more the grey area, but obviously late to the Tottenham game was a big one. I think that really should have been his last one. Yeah, it was Gallas, Fabregas, Van Persie, Vermaelen, injury prone.
Marlon. Yep.
Yeah.
Marlon.
Mertesacker, injury prone. And then Xhaka and Aubameyang axed. Gallas axed. I don't actually remember how the Gallas one ended. That was a great swap deal from us to get Ashley Cole, I must say. As good as Gallas
Beautiful
was.
business. Beautiful business.
So 3 forced exits, 3 injury prones, and 3 axed. So I wonder what will be next. It's not bad. I think that's the last 9.
Who's their captain now? Who was the captain against West Ham? Was it Xhaka?
I'm not sure. If Xhaka gets it back, I'm going to be laughing my head off. I think it's going to be hilarious if that's...
Yeah.
I don't think Xhaka... I mean, surely
it was
not.
Lacazette. It was Lacazette, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
Anybody
there's
can get it.
rumor. There's rumor at Arsenal now. They're going to have like a leadership group.
Oh.
Is that...
It's gonna
Oh,
be
that's
like-
the real thing. I thought it was a
It's going to
joke.
be like... I mean, yeah, like a 3 or 4 man little squad, and the armband gets shared about between them.
During the match, it
That's
gets shared
dumb.
around.
No. So like game to game, I'm guessing, or I don't know.
Can you imagine like 15 minutes? Like they start swapping. Like your turn now, mate.
Your turn to be the leader now.
35th minute. It's your turn now.
Oh, God.
Honestly, that
What a
club.
joke, man.
Jesus Christ. I mean, back to Chelsea though. I mean, in this, let's just assume we've got Everton. Let's assume we've got Wolves and Aston Villa and Brighton. What do you guys want to see for the rest of the calendar year from Chelsea in terms of improvements? We've been scoring lately in terms of we've been getting more goals. I still think the attack could be better. Defensively, we've been absolutely horrendous. Obviously, that's been really where. I mean, we were talking about not so long ago, trying to eclipse or beat Jose Mourinho's defensive record with 15 goals conceded. That's not happening. How many goals have we actually conceded now? Let me check.
I think we're on like 11 now or 12.
11.
Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Quick things can change.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And that goes to show you just how mad that record was. The fact that we were contemplating it a third of the way through the season because of the ratio to it. And now we've thrown it away and we are going to concede more. That year was mad. 15 goals. That's outrageous.
And you're right, Younes. I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen, man.
I don't think it's ever going to happen again. If we can't do it this year, it's never happening again.
Can you imagine that particular season? 15 goals only conceded. Oh my God.
Dumb.
Oh my God. And we conceded 8 in the last 3. That's including
their concentration never dipped.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how mad that is? Like, at no point did they like have a bad game where they got slapped up by Bournemouth or slapped up by Man City or Watford. They just the whole season defensively they were switched on. That's 15. So I mean, and some of those games we would have conceded, I'm guessing, 2 goals. So that's more.
Yeah.
That's more than what 20. That's more than 23 clean sheets. Probably more than that.
Probably.
But also, the amount of games we managed to just go and just 1-0. Cheers, 3 points. Like the amount of times we've done that season was brilliant.
Cheers, 3 points.
Score 1, bring on Mikel, 3 points. Score 1, bring on Mikel, 3 points. Amazing. But I know actually Mikel wasn't playing for us that season, if I'm not mistaken. He definitely wasn't. But you get the gist. Yeah. We were just completely, getting those results, and we just wouldn't concede. We just wouldn't concede. So it's never happening again. I think we come to terms with it.
Matt Laws confirmed that Leicester versus Tottenham is just postponed tonight.
Tottenham are going to have like 8 games in hand.
In a row.
How are they going to... See, this is
how are they going to catch up? They got 3 games. They have a Europa League game to play because they were in the draw. I was watching the draw with Vitesse. They got a dash, so they're still to play that game. And they got 2 Premier League games to play as well now. Is it the Brighton one as well?
Well, 3 Premier League games, I think.
3 Premier League games, is it? Or 2?
Brighton, last one? Which one was
I think
the
it was
last
just
one?
I think it's Brighton and Leicester. I don't think there's another one. I think it's because they started this from midweek last week, so they missed out Vitesse, then they missed out Brighton at the weekend, and now it's Leicester. I think it's 3 games in total.
Let me just have a quick look, man. Tottenham. Let's just have a look at this.
Someone saying, to be fair, the league wasn't as competitive when Jose Mourinho's team did that. Interesting. I mean, maybe it's a fair shout. Maybe. I mean, there was a point also where in this league nobody had a positive goal difference outside the top 4. So I don't know if I want to give them too much credit right now. T1 says, since we've been conceding goals with 3 at the back, I'm hoping we switch to 4-3-3. Having an extra attacking player might improve our offense. Can you guys name your players in a 4-3-3? I know you all don't like it. Well, I can't, unfortunately, because we don't have a left back. So that's the first thing. Chilwell's injured. So who do you play at left back? I'm not playing Alonso at left back. I'm not playing Saul at left back. And in the modern game, I'm not playing Azpilicueta at left back either, who's been gassing out around 65, 70 minutes. So we don't have a left back. Second issue is we don't have a natural DM. We have Jorginho, but we don't have Kante. And if we don't have Kante, then we don't have the recovery and the pace and the engine around Jorginho, which he needed and had under Sarri and had at Napoli with Allen. So if we don't have Kante, I'm not putting Jorginho in a midfield 3 with Ruben and Saul, because that's the only 2 players that are available. So that already tells me no 4-3. I can't pick a lineup that I'm going to be proud of, that I'm not going to be throwing up at. So, I mean, what about you two? I can't put together a lineup. That's why I'm always against it.
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, in terms of a switch to a 4-3-3, firstly, we can't do it. Now we can't do it. Until Chilwell's back, it's impossible. Because Alonso at left back, no. no, thank you. Unless if he literally just does not bomb forward. And you kind of need your left back to bomb forward. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, I don't feel like we can even entertain that idea. And I want to say, it goes back to the same point that Miz has been making whenever he goes to Mizball. Fantastic feature all the time. But where, the formation on the pitch doesn't dictate how we're playing. This isn't, like years ago where, you're playing a 4-4-2. Okay, it means you're playing a 4-4-2, and that's how it is for 90 minutes. The game's developed. We're now playing hybrid systems and formations. We're able to switch, all of a sudden you're playing 3 at the back. Next thing you know, you're playing 4 at the back because you've had one man come across and you've sent one man forward. There's loads of different things that you're doing within a game that can change from a 3 to a 4 to a 5, with 2 up top to 1 up top to 3 up top. It can just switch. So that whole mindset of, one formation is going to be the key. No, it's how you use that formation and the system that you play. And everyone's different. Like Conte at Tottenham plays a 3-4-3. Tuchel at Chelsea plays a 3-4-3. 2 completely different styles and plays of football. It's just 2 completely different approaches, but the formation is the same. But they're different. That's the thing. So going to a 4-3-3, I just want to put that to bed personally. I don't think that's going to be the break, the make and end all. I don't think
so. Tuchel has time to even think about that when there's
he doesn't.
No time in between the games for training as well. So I mean, Miz, what do you think?
And just on that, just going off what Younes said, which is absolutely bang on. I just want to throw it out there. Where do you think Mount plays?
Yeah.
Do you think Mount plays just as just stays up there? He drops in midfield many a times. Sometimes he's in the wing. Sometimes he drops into middle to make it a midfield 3.
And if in a 4-3-3, he'd probably be picking up similar positions.
He'll be picking up similar positions. So once again, the formation is not the issue. However, the point I think I like here, besides the formation, the 4-3-3, I think that's irrelevant. It's having another attacking player. Now, that is something I agree. And I've always said this. It's the personnel. Could we possibly do without, I don't know, a less defender and have another attack-minded player? Perhaps. I mean, you look at the positions sometimes Rudiger takes up. He got us the 2 penalties. He's in the box. I'm not advocating for Rudiger not to be picked. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just hypothetically thinking, would it not make sense to have an attacking player as opposed to Rudy making those runs? Now, as the lads have said, we don't have the balance at the moment. So that's why we play the 3. That's the best sort of outcome that we have with the set of players that we have. But I do understand from this particular super chat, the gist of it is that having another attack-minded player, and then whatever they do is dependent on the system, which is fine. I can understand that, and maybe that's something Thomas Tuchel may work on next season, because at the end of the day, maybe we could do with just 2 defenders, like your let's say a Rudiger and a Thiago Silva, and then have another extra attacker. I think that would definitely change the dynamics of our game. And it's not to say that, oh, Muse, that's ridiculous. How are we going to defend? And there's plenty of teams out there that are defending with 2 top-notch centre backs. Do you know what I mean? Not many play with 3 at the back. Minority play with 3 at the back. Majority do play with the 2 at the back. So, yeah.
Our defensive record that we were just talking about was with 4 at the back.
There you go. 15
Terry
goals.
Carvalho, 15 goals.
Are these guys on the level of Terry Carvalho, though? I would say no.
Nah, they're not. Of course not. Of course not.
I
Those
would
2 are
say
goated.
absolutely no chance. And I would also say I don't think the more the merrier, to be honest, in attack, because I think, there's too many times where I'm seeing, these guys are creating opportunities in the system. They do have opportunities to score or create a clear-cut opportunity, and they're picking the wrong decision. I think that's down to them. And I think that's why Chelsea have been linked with Rafinha in the last few days. And I think that's why I keep saying that a couple of these attackers are going to have to go. And it's up to them who it will be. I think there's a group of 4, Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi. Whether it's a loan, whether it's didn't get enough game time, wants to leave themselves, which people forget. Again, they got their own careers. They're not necessarily going to want to stay. Whether it's interest from Bundesliga, like Werner, I think 1 or 2 of them will go. I think that's the realistic expectation. I think none of these attackers were signed by Tuchel, so he'll look to bring in his own attackers. And let me ask this question. If you put Bernardo Silva into our front 3, do you think we're questioning how many attackers we have? Probably not, because he makes the right decisions. And that's the difference. Do we have anybody in our attack on the level of Mohamed Salah, on the level of Bernardo Silva? No, we don't. If we had world-class players in attack, they would make the right decisions in attack when they had the opportunities to, and they would do the business. We don't even have people that are shooting outside the box. I don't think I've seen anybody do what Gallagher just did in our team really this season. Maybe once or twice, maybe Reece James, maybe, I don't know. Doesn't happen very often.
Maybe Mount here and there.
Mount. It doesn't happen very often, though. Yeah. We don't really take shots from distance. You can't really say anybody in our attack has elite level passing that is on a consistent level to cut through a defense. And they're not great shooters either. Most of them, they can shoot, but they're not reliable shooters. I wouldn't say, anyone's a reliable shooter outside Lukaku with his record so far in his career. Everybody else doesn't really have a record to say that they're a reliable shooter. No one is in their prime like Salah doing it season in, season out, 20, 25 goals in the Premier League every single year. So for that reason, I don't really trust losing some defensive structure to then compensate for attack. That I don't think adding another name in there is really gonna really do too much. But I think if we do, and also I don't think the midfield suits the 4-3-3 either right now. I think Kante is very injury prone, and I think without Kante, that 4-3-3 doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, because I think, if you've got Jorginho as the only person to play the 6, and we've already agreed that he's overplayed and he's taken hip injury after hip injury or whatever because he's not able to rotate out, his burden and fitness is even more relied upon in a 4-3-3. It's the issue Lampard had, is that the team was just getting picked apart because the 8s were getting far forward, the fullbacks were moving forward as well, and then the 6 was just isolated. And you don't leave Jorginho isolated. He's not mobile enough. You need a mobile 6, a Chouameni or someone. You need someone who can cover ground if you're going to leave them isolated. And then on top of that, Kante is not available to cover up. Who are we going to go in a midfield 3? You're going to go Kova, Jorginho and Ruben. That's going to get ripped. Yeah, absolutely ripped, in my opinion. So I just don't think it's the right time. I think Tuchel's got us as high up the table as and challenging with this team as much as he can. And then, I mean, you can ask me why I'm upset, because it's a way of scoring goals. If you watch Chelsea in their history, we had shooters from outside the box. Look at Drogba against Everton, last minute, out of nothing. Look at Lampard. Look at Essien. Look at Ballack. Look at all these guys. And then you won't ask me that. You know what I mean? That is a part of the game. That's a way of breaking down teams. Liverpool and City may not have shooters from outside the box, but they can break teams open. Man City are the best chance creators in the world. Liverpool also up there with some of the best chance creators in the world as well. But we can't do that. So what's one way of getting a goal without having to pick every single perfect pass is to shoot from distance.
That's the one thing we always try and do as well, is we try to work our way into the box. When we can all see, we always pass opportunities to shoot. There's a chance for a play on the edge. Shoot, no. He makes that pass. We try to get into the box. Now, if he had shot, we might have scored. And that's time and time again. And that's why I think we call for it, because we might be scoring more if we took those opportunities when they arise.
And it's also about, at times you can catch the keeper out, because they may not be expecting a long shot, and out of nowhere a rocket comes in. You can catch a keeper out. You can give the opposition something different to think about, that not giving you space. Maybe they need to come up, push up, and make sure they're pressing and at you straight away, which then will leave gap behind the line. So these are different facets. If you just take away shooting outside of the long range completely out of your repertoire, then the teams know, well, Chelsea's never going to shoot from distance. So all we're going to do is pack the box, and they're not going to be able to do nothing about it. So look at KDB, the rocket he produced against Leeds.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, just snapshot, boom, the technique, and the keeper literally, even in slow-mo, the ball was moving with such great pace. It wasn't even funny, and it was slow-mo. You can see Melia just diving like that, and the ball just whizzed through. So you can catch players out like that. And I think, gone are those days where Lampard used to catch out players like that from distance. Essien, as Matisse has said, and many other. Like, do you remember that Didier Drogba goal against Everton? I mean, Everton just around the corner. That one touch with his chest, volley, boom, catches the keeper out. You gotta have that man in your locker. You really do.
And also, if you have that in your team, it creates more space, because now people are closing you down and you're bringing people out of position. This is the point. It's not even just to shoot. It's the fact that, are we capable of shooting? Because if we were capable of shooting from distance, teams would know that as a threat, and then they would close us down. And then when you're closing us down, we either take the shot or we play the pass elsewhere, and then that person's got more space. You don't allow KDB on the edge of the box to have time.
No.
So that gives space to others, because someone has to close him down. Someone in the defensive shape has to move, close him down, because they know if he shoots like he did the other day against Leeds, he'll rifle it in the top corner with either foot. That's the kind of threat I'm talking about. If we have someone who can shoot from outside the box, it creates space for others. It gets goals and it creates space. And that's the whole point here, is that if you have that in your locker, the opposition know that, they prepare for it, and then they know that they can't leave you with time and space. No offense, but we know if Kova's outside the box 30 yards, don't close him down. Leave him. Respectfully, we know that. Jorginho, leave him. Even Ruben, really, leave him. Like, just leave them all. Don't bother. Do you know what I mean? Like, that threat isn't really there. So until it's there, it's not really it's not really a thing that we have to our advantage. Guys, I've got all the information, all the updated information in the banner below. Please don't go too crazy in the chat with your pain and being scared and shit. Just wait for actual news to come through. I want actual news. I don't want panic. I don't want people shitting themselves. I just want news. If you have news from a proper source, put it in the chat. I'll add it to the bottom. If you don't, then let's leave it until we actually get some news.
There is the whole day to go as well, so we'll see what happens in the next few hours.
How are Chelsea going to cope with all these cancellations? Remember, we have the Club World Cup as well. When are we going to find time to play?
Absolutely.
When they sleep. There's no sleep. You better wake up.
It's like Tottenham now. They've already got 3 games in hand, and now they're going to have this cancelled tonight with Leicester. I mean, these games need to be played.
Spurs are going to play every second day, and I think that's even worse because they can't be rotating that heavily.
You know what? Can't. Yeah, and I feel like this is where it's going to go wrong for Tottenham now with Conte, and I feel like if
injuries.
He feels like, the fact that he already overworks them, and we know what Conte's like, and then if the transfer market comes and he's like, "Hey, Daniel Levy, my team are all dead. I need players," and he's like, "Nah, I can't get you those players," and it's gonna implode.
That accent was mad.
We must suffer.
We must suffer. We must suffer.
Oh my god, that accent was hilarious, man. My team is all dead.
My team is all dead.
It's like skeletons just running around, just skeletons, bones.
He was meant to be getting backed, wasn't he, in the transfer market? So, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure how that's all gonna.
I got to be honest, man. It's a bit of a mood killer, man. I'm so looking forward to this game. I know it's all cancelled, and I'm not sort of jumping the gun or anything, but I'm still annoyed that many other clubs, all of their games are getting postponed as well. Like it's Man United game got postponed. Now Spurs and Leicester is very close to getting postponed.
Leicester Tottenham has been postponed. It's confirmed.
Yeah, Leicester Tottenham is confirmed. It
just brings back bad memories, man. Just no football and whatnot, and it's just, what is the solution? I don't know.
It's tiring, isn't it? I'd say that's probably the word. It's just we didn't expect it to be going on for this long. It's a bit boring now. Just want to be done with it. But
it's been 2 years, Matisse, since the pandemic started. Like it's 2 years of our life. Can you imagine? Like that. We're not talking about small time frame. 2 years
exactly
have gone by from your life, and we're entering the third year.
Yep.
It's not. This is not.
I didn't celebrate New Year last year.
Me neither.
Anyone did.
It's not new.
Anyone did.
Nothing
Yeah,
new.
it was all cancelled.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yep.
No, it's not even that things got cancelled. Like I didn't even bother cheer when the clock. when the clock.
Because what are you going to look forward to?
What am I looking forward to? It's the same bullshit. I'm not doing it this year either. Until I see that this is done, I'll celebrate New Year when this is over. When they come out and confirm that this is over, we finally beat it. Then I'll do a New Year party. Then that will be my New Year. Then I'll start going to the gym. That's my excuse.
I'll be honest. I think you'll be waiting a long while for that, mate. If I'm honest. I honestly think the important thing is for everyone to focus on their own individual lives, and don't separate yourselves from your family, your friends. You've lost enough time already as it is, and as I've already said, like we're gonna have to move with this. Like it's as simple as that. So why start thinking about going back to the ways that didn't work before? It's just like we get on with it. And we'll see what happens with the football. Obviously, all our concern is right now is this football, and what's going to happen. We'll wait and see. But my advice: don't restrict yourselves and put yourselves into a box. It's just not worth it.
You see, this is the lack of trust we have here. Either you know me too well,
you ain't going to the gym,
or we need to. Maybe this bond we have is too strong. But
hey, Matisse, I'm 10 minutes away from you. I will throw you into into a gym myself. If
I think
chat want me to, I will do it.
Matisse did one live in Insta where he was going towards gym. I don't even know if he actually went in and did something, but he did.
Yeah,
a live.
I did.
Yeah, he did. Okay, that one time he did. And since then, there was no more. And he promised he was going to do more lives going to gym. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one session. He's one session a quarter. I would say. I don't know, even half a year. I think since then, Matisse has not gone back to gym. So.
Obviously, because of the pandemic, and I don't want to catch anything, so that's obviously the reason.
Fair point.
Yeah, guys, anything that's being tweeted is already on the bottom of your screen. Please read what's on the bottom of the screen right now, because a lot of you guys are spamming stuff that I've already got up on here. You're just creating more panic. I've put two massive quotes, and I'll read them out to you because a lot of you guys are clearly not reading what's on the bottom of the screen. Simon Phillips' earlier tweet, which is obviously the confirmation of 3 players. And then obviously after that, the confirmation of one of those players was meant to start tonight as well. And he found out about this yesterday morning. Apart from that, there's nothing else that's new that I've seen. Everything else is literally just the same. So yeah, that's really all it is.
You know what, Matisse? If it's 3, they were all together, weren't they? Like they were training together and whatnot. So soon it'll be more.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, if it's 3 and they didn't know and they've been conversing and with the rest of the squad, then I'm pretty sure it's all going to go tits up from there. So yeah, there's no point trying to pretend it isn't. We'll do score predictions regardless, even though we don't know what's going on with this one, which is interesting. Everton at home, score prediction, Younes. How do you think it's going to play out?
I was gonna go over 2-0. I said it in my preview yesterday. I reckon 2-0. Nothing too drastic, nothing too crazy. Yeah, shout out Sky Sports vibes. This does look like Sky Sports, the bottom yellow screen. But yeah, I think 2-0. I think that, we won't destroy Everton to the point where, we pace them like 7-0 the way City did with Leeds. But I feel like they're struggling enough for us to be able to get a couple of goals and not concede. So, well, hopefully, unless if Charity FC show up, then, postpone the game in that case.
Oh my God. Lord of mercy. Miz, prediction, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I said in my preview as well, 2-0, just standard. Looking at what Everton don't have, Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Townsend, Luka Dean.
Yep.
Yeah, they're decimated. They're decimated.
That's why I want to still play the game, man. Just get the game moving.
And Rafa's job's under threat.
Yeah, and this could be the perfect opportunity to, get the victory against Everton. And I don't really care whether Rafael Benitez gets sacked or not, but yeah, he could possibly get the sack if we get the win. And even players like Alan and Seamus Coleman, they're doubtful whether they're going to actually be making it. They may have to play with pain. So we have a top chance to get 3 points here. I was sort of thinking it was going to be 2-0. We can keep a clean sheet. But let's just hope the match even happens now. I really, really hope it does happen. And already news, as Matisse said, in that brilliant Sky Sports banner that's going on, one of the players were meant to start. So, well, that player ain't starting.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna take that position. So
I wonder which player that is as well.
I saw someone in the live chat say that Lukaku wasn't in training yesterday. So.
Okay, that could be.
Although there was a little thing from Thomas Tuchel apparently how Lukaku wasn't going to start. So
really,
it might not
I
be
really
him.
thought Lukaku would have started this game.
It might not be him.
Yeah.
Interesting. OS says Broja is 3 Premier League goals away from catching Werner. I mean,
I know. I laughed. I saw that.
Let's see the statistics at the end of the season. But like I said,
bad.
I think a lot of people like to throw together goals and assists in terms of goal contributions, when really back in the day you just had to just use goals for
that didn't exist back in the day.
We didn't.
Goal contributions
back when our
nothing.
strikers were lethal, we didn't have to do goals and assists. We actually just did the goals, just the goals, and that was good enough.
Or the assists for the midfielders. That's it.
Yeah, or the assists for the
midfielders. Assists was generally midfielders. I never even associated assists with strikers.
The poor new generation that are gonna grow up and be like, goal contributions, like no, goals and assists.
My thing is not really to do stats; it's more to do performances, and just watch the game. Because I think if you go completely off stats and you don't watch, then you can get a very unclear picture of how the game actually went. For instance, people keep bringing people will maybe bring up Kai Havertz not having a goal in the game against, I don't know, Watford, but he was good.
It was very good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the difference. And then someone can get a goal in a game but be absolutely trash. I've been speaking about it for donkeys how long. Bruno Fernandes is a perfect example of someone who can get a goal in a game, get a penalty, but he played trash. But then in 3 months' time, people will take all of his goal contributions and say, "Oh, look at what an incredible player he is. He's better than Lampard." No, he's not.
I'll give another example because it's fresh in my mind. I watched West Ham versus Arsenal, and it was purely because I wanted to track Declan Rice, and I wanted to use my eyes as opposed to stats, right? And I'll tell you straight up, and this is not hating, and this is purely just on that particular match, and this is not, I'm putting the disclaimer out there because I know there's a lot of haters and there's a lot of people that want to insult straight off the back of this. What I'm about to say is purely based on the Arsenal game. Don't take it as a way of whether we need to get Rice, whether we don't need to get, none of that. Basically what I saw against Arsenal is him at times playing as an 8, sometimes dropping in between the CBs. He wasn't the greatest when it came to a build-up. In fact, he did not want to. He did not want to touch the ball too much when it's in the build-up. And generally, West Ham didn't even want to build up that much. Sometimes they'll go long because the press was too much. And that's the other thing. Declan Rice, when getting pressed, could be a bit suspect. And basically, off the back of that match, by watching it, I said, just on this match, Declan Rice did nothing. And if I was to think about how he would fit into Chelsea, I just couldn't picture how. But so many people came out and started giving me stats. He was the best player for West Ham. This amount of tackles, that amount of, this and that and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, here's a stat for you. A successful cross could also mean, so let's say, for example, Reece James whips in a cross and no attacker was actually there to header it, but it was still a good cross. That's actually a successful cross. But when we are all watching it, we're thinking, that's just a missed chance, isn't it? Like no one got a header to it. Mm. But in the stats, it would come as 1 out of 1 successful cross. So what does that 1 out of 1 successful cross mean? Like, no one got at the end of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, stats are very, very. You have to watch the match, man. Then use the stats to make the interpretation. Don't just look at the stats and throw it at us. The other day, I think it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I thought he wasn't that great against. Who was it?
Leeds.
Who did we play? West Ham.
Oh, West
Ham. The one before Leeds. Yeah, it was West Ham. I think it was also Leeds. And I said, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I just something about it. I don't know if he's been okay-ish, but I want more. And someone threw stats at me saying Ruben literally did everything possible better than anyone else in the Chelsea team. Interceptions, presses, this, that. And I'm like, dude, just go away, man. Go away. Honestly, go away. Watch the match, mate. Watch the match. So be very careful about stats, man. Only do stats once you actually watch the match.
Yeah, and
I feel like.
And this is why unless the person's had a great season, you shouldn't really be bringing the stats from last season and saying, "Oh, look at this." Because I find, I've always said this, I find Werner in particular a very weird player to analyze. He's got 7 goals in the Champions League for Chelsea in 15 games, and 7 goals in the Premier League in 44 games. So he's got the same amount of Premier League goals as Champions League goals for Chelsea. And I remember Hazard, and I remember having to bring home truths there. He wasn't good for Chelsea in the Champions League overall. He didn't have a great time for Chelsea in the Champions League. He also missed a couple seasons, but wasn't great. Diego Costa's another one. Wasn't great in the Champions League as well. They were more Premier League players. So, it goes in ups and downs. But when we speak about Werner and being maybe better, with spacing behind all these things as well, it's just, you have to look at it and take it with a pinch of salt. There's been plenty of games, and I always go back to this game, the Liverpool game at Anfield. He had a great game, that game. I always go back to that game because he didn't get a goal or an assist that game. I think one of his goals were offside. I think he lobbed the goalkeeper, and it was offside. Mason Mount got the winner. He was brilliant that game. No goals, no assists. Yeah. No goals, no assists. So that's why I always say stats can be misleading, because there's been games where players will play very well and not get a goal or an assist, but they were involved in everything. And there'll be games where they get a late goal or a late assist, but they were trash. So
this is the thing. You can see this. You can see this with the eye, though. Like and I fully agree. Like stats can be completely misleading. Sometimes, look, here's the moral of the story, right? Sometimes less is more. Yeah, it's if you keep things simple, it's just easier. And I remember how football used to be analyzed before stats and before tech got involved and whatnot. And it was just, you could just watch a game. You just watch a game and you'll know the impact that a certain player has had. And yeah, you say it doesn't necessarily need to mean, oh, you got to get goals or you got to get assists. If not, you had a bad game. No, you can just identify with that one player in that certain role, and you can just judge if he had a good game or not. It's as easy as that. And you just base it on the fact of what you've been watching and the impact that each player in their position has had to the overall result of the team on that day. That's it. You don't need to score goals to have a good game. If you do score goals, you can still have a bad game and get a goal. That's just the reality of the situation. But it's nice that you got a goal. You've helped the team win. Great. And it's just, sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. We try to pluck out things, and I think it's just to justify our own belief in a certain player because we want to try and prop up that player because we like that player. That's it. I think that is it. And we use it against certain players sometimes. We bring up stats because I don't like that player. I'm going to use this stat to make him look bad. And it's just, look, just watch the game, judge it on your eyes, and it's as easy as that, man. Less is more. And
a couple of things I want to just add. And this is why when talking about Jorginho, people bring out his stats and they make him look so poor. Jorginho is not someone, and I've said this to Matisse offline and even to Younes, there's a lot of things that Jorginho does. There's actually no stats for it. There's actually no, you can't put a stat on that particular facet of that game. You can't. Vision. How many visions did he have? 6 out of 6 visions.
How many visions?
You can't put a stat on vision.
Oh my God. How many visions?
That's fantastic.
You're like, this is That's So Raven.
Yeah. Or how quick was his thinking? 5 out of 5 thinking was quick. Stats for that kind of stuff, man. You got to watch the game to see that. You got to watch the game. So, you know, that's why when people talk rubbish about Jorginho, I just tune out, man. I go, look, you don't know football, man. I don't want to waste my time, man. I really don't. I sound like I'm an arrogant guy, but no.
Someone said expected vision.
Yeah, expected vision. Like when you spend a lot of time, like and I've said it, like us three, we are content makers. We spend so much time about football, watching, analyzing. You start thinking a lot deeper, and that's going to happen in any sort of field that you work in. So now us fellas, we get to a point where like, man, I don't want to have a discussion with someone that just doesn't understand the basics, and there's no fun in it. You want to talk to someone that actually brings the intellectuality out of you. So that's a little bit about that.
Yeah, but when someone says Jorginho does nothing, I just tune out, man. It's like
I tune out, bro. I just like
that's not something that's not something I can handle. I get what you're talking about on that one.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I can't. The other one is I quite like expected goals. I really do. But even expected goals as a stat is so strange. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Man City beat Leeds 7-0, and Man City's expected goal by expected philosophy, that account or whatever they are called in Twitter, had Man City's expected goals at 2.78. They scored 7. They were expected
so they done more than what they were expected.
Have they not watched the game? City were literally 8 leads, like picked them up and just gobbled them up. Like seriously, pressed the living daylights out of them, did not let them breathe. Their passing was immense. Their shooting, the accuracy and all that. Like, how did that account come up with 2.78?
So here's the thing. This is where the calculation gets mad, and this is why I say less is more, because that 2.78 comes to the indication. For example, like KDB's shot from outside the box, that would go down as something that's not an expected goal because no one thought he would take the shot from that distance, but he did, and it went in. But this is a part of football that should be expected.
Facts. That should be expected.
You've got KDB on the edge of the box with space. What do you think he's going to do?
100%. Lampard would have exceeded his XG for fun. That goal against Barcelona at the Nou Camp when he clipped it over Valdez from the freaking byline. Not from the byline, sorry, from the was it? Well, it wasn't
from the byline. Yeah, it was pretty much from the byline.
From the byline,
that goal, what was the XG on that one?
Its XG would be -5.
That was
exactly.
Minus XG.
It's dumb. And you know what? It all stems from, you look at the timescales, and it comes with when FIFA, for example, started to get very technical. Football Manager got popular. Everyone's dwelled into the numbers. XG is now a thing. It's no coincidence that as that has now streamed more into the mainstream, that people's thinking in terms of football and the way they read the game has changed.
Where's the magic?
It's no coincidence, and it's just
Do you think they do this? They take it back to the training and they say, right, the XG in certain parts of the pitch is this, so this is where we're going to take shots from. We're not going to take shots from there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how technical it's got. Where's the
anyone that does that should be fired.
Man, Zidane and Ronaldinho would never have survived in this era, man. I'm telling you, they wouldn't survive.
No, exactly.
Yeah, Ronaldinho, don't do that flick, don't do that skill, because we need you to make that square pass to this guy here, because we got a plan that's coming in about 2 hours. We've got a goal coming in 2 hours. If you pass it there, then there's another pass over there. Don't do that rainbow flick. Stop. It's not the plan. Yo, Zidane, you see that touch? Good, but try this time. Just don't even touch it. Just let it go straight through.
Best believe if Zidane played in today's game, he would get wrecked in the same way Jorginho gets wrecked. I feel.
Oh man!
I think
what
he
does
would
Zidane do in midfield? What
does he score goals? But like how many expected possession?
How many expected breaths
per 90 does he have?
Like, expected breaths.
I remember when people were analysing Mount's breathing technique before he took a penalty. That was funny. On Twitter.
Wow!
People have just got to step out the box, man. Step out the box and look from things from afar. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps.
We're going to wrap this one up, people. We've had plenty of expected breaths in this episode and expected everything. There's been a lot of expected. I'm expecting big things now from that like button. Smash it. All right. Smash that like button.
Expected likes.
Where's the expected likes at?
Let's get the expected likes up. Okay. The expected likes. Younes, let them know what kind of content you got coming out. Well, I guess who knows what game we're even playing next. So yeah.
I mean, there's meant to be a watch along later. So we'll see if that happens. There's meant to be a match reviewed later tonight. So we'll see if that happens. There's gonna be a match preview if that game does happen. We'll see. But yeah, there's content in terms of today's game against Everton, the weekend. We play Wolves on Sunday, so that's going to be cool. In the meantime, generic football news on my channel as well, and talking about various topics that are happening, just like one of my latest videos on Aubameyang and the captaincy there. I've launched my second channel, Younes Talks, which is highlights from my Twitch streams and certain videos clipped from my Twitch stream. So my Twitch is live now as well, properly. That's what I'm saying. I played FIFA and I got Rudiger to sign a new contract.
Good
Lovely
stuff, Younes. Good
so
stuff.
yeah,
doing the work.
Doing the work.
Love it. Miz, let them know where to find you. Any content coming out, bro?
Yeah, just like Younes was expecting to do a watch along, expected
watch along,
expected watch along,
-5. Expected watch along.
Expected review, all in the bin now. But hopefully the match will go on. So yeah, we can do the watch along and the review, and the game after that is quite straight away. The Wolves, isn't it
Sunday? Yeah.
So press conference will be tomorrow, right? It has to be tomorrow.
Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah.
So then you're back with the previews and the watch along again. So we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I dropped the Broja one if you guys are interested. But I was really excited to talk about Broja, so you can check that out. That's live at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The other side of the coin, if you don't know the channel name.
The links are in the description, guys, and obviously links are in the chat as well. Game before first lockdown was versus Everton as well. Okay. From OS, appreciate the super chat. For me, same thing as the boys. Expected watch-alongs, expected reviews, expected everything. We don't know. So keep an eye out on the channel. Obviously, if the game goes ahead, I'll do a watch-along. The other boys will do a watch-along as well. Just have 3 tabs open. It's much easier. And if there is no game, then there will be no watch along. So there you go. Very simple. Very simple. But yeah, until then, people, smash up the icons. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about whatever you want to talk about, whether it's the team, if you want to, live in the universe where the game goes on. If you want to talk about other things as well, go for it. Put it in the description. January transfer targets, all that stuff. We're only 2 weeks away from January window opening now. So I am willing to get involved in transfer debate now. I'm ready to do that with you guys. So yeah, in a bit, people. Peace.